Balanis is an elf imprisoned by the Dead Walkers during the assault of Caralthus. He seems to have gained standing among the prisoners of his people. King Arandil IV, for many years, ruler of the elves. By his orders, his people did not join the war, preferring to study it and ready themselves for combat under guise of neutrality. Alas, the choice did not prove wise. Of the once noble king, only a monstrous creature remains, one comprised of the bodies of many nobles punished in this way by Black Frost for their cowardice. Nice. Sybil, you're coming with me.
Damn, it's freezing here. Aren't you cold?
I've spent many winters in libraries with no heating. After that, you hardly notice the cold. Which reminds me, do you know if the library in the city is still intact?
I saw a building that looks like a library. But is it intact? Are you looking for any book in particular?
Not a book, many books. The elves have the most advanced culture in the world. Their libraries contain works of inestimable value. We should find them. They could be useful to us.
There. Nice. Just curious, if I talk to all of my companions, do they all have side quests?
Come here.
Oh.
I need to talk to you about something. While you were
okay.
in the city, the Deadwalkers apparently began stirring. Several scouts have disappeared without a trace. They can't just have been ambushed by chance. Someone must have given their roots to our enemies. I'm afraid we have a traitor among us. Though if that's the case, I don't understand why we haven't been attacked by the Deadwalkers yet. What's really troubling is that these disappearances pretty much correspond to your arrival here, which means that your living dead friend is the prime suspect. Even if it's just as possible that it's one of the Red Scribes, or even one of your people.
And why can't it be one of your people?
Why would he do that? And above all, why would he wait until now to betray us?
Who knows what goes on in a traitor's head? Maybe he thought that everything was played out and my presence here made him change his mind. After all, until we got here, you weren't doing much. But now things have started to move, and the outcome of the combat has become less certain.
You're extremely presumptuous. If what you say is true, this traitor actually waited to see if you were really capable of reversing the situation. Fine, for the sake of argument. Will you help us carry out this investigation? Yes or no?
I'll see what I can do. But if it turns out the traitor is one of your people, you better do what you have to.
Investigate the traitor. Like, I wonder... So, how many side quests do we have? A traitor in the camp, the IC library. That's definitely side quests. Okay, if I talk to you, what?
Just in time, Vulcan. I'm afraid I need your help again.
Okay.
What happened to you now?
To me, nothing. It's about my people. Have you ever heard of the Stone of Souls?
No. Worth a lot?
No. I mean, yes. It's priceless, but it's not for sale.
I'm not sure I follow you.
I'll explain. Every elf possesses a Stone of Souls, which contains the memories and emotions from all the greatest moments of his life. These stones are passed from generation to generation. It's a way of preserving the memories of our people and of honoring our ancestors. With all of those who died at Caralthas, there are thousands of stones abandoned in the city. We cannot just leave them there. You're no doubt the one who will be traveling to our city the most. If you could bring back as many of them as possible, I'd be eternally grateful. Actually, all of my people would be in your debt. At least the ones who still live.
Alright, I'll take care of it.
Alright, I'll take care of it. But don't expect to see me dancing around with a wheelbarrow full of rocks.
That would in fact be an amusing sight. But I do get your meaning. Whenever you can, check the bodies of elves you come across and collect the stones.
There's a bunch
Even
of
if we
elves I
manage to
came
save only a
across.
very few, we will at least preserve some of the memories of my people.
I'll see what I can do. Let's change the subject. I'll leave you here.
So, turns out I should probably talk with all these people.
How can I help you, mercenary?
You got a side? Oh no,
I'll be
you have
going
nothing. Okay. Gotta try and talk with everybody. Might have some side quests for a brother. Hello.
What can you tell me about Mathras?
He is a most unusual being. Do you realize he has been alive for over 6,000 years?
Yes.
Don't you get the impression that he's just talking bullshit?
Even though at first sight, such a long existence sounds impossible, he has knowledge of history that makes it very difficult for us to doubt his word. And his appearance speaks for itself, if I may be so bold.
It's true that he does look a bit ripe.
As far as I understand it, he regularly changes his bodies. As soon as the one he's taken starts wearing out, he procures a new frame? What is really fascinating is that he is the kind of undead that was previously unheard of. We had no idea there was a being able to transfer their soul from one body to another in order to keep living. Remember that his knowledge could very well turn our vision of mortality upside down. And of course he might provide unhoped-for help against the lords of the frozen shadows.
What did I tell you? Once they've recovered from the shock of my somewhat shriveled appearance, everybody thinks I'm highly useful.
He could really help us out. If we could only be sure he wasn't working for the enemy.
You insult me yet again. Joining forces with a band of apprentice sorcerers with a thirst for power would be unworthy of my condition. And didn't I already tell you how to enter the city?
Some basic information that got you into our camp. That seems pretty clever to me.
Really? What would be in it for me? Not that the company of these scribes is unpleasant, but I doubt that our simple little discussions will affect the course of the war.
I can confirm that he hasn't ever been alone. But you look a bit preoccupied with something. Am I right?
The commander says there's a traitor in the camp, and our new friend is obviously a prime suspect. What if he can read minds?
Well, I think that the commander is wrong. We've spoken for a long time with Mathras, and I don't believe for a second that he's got anything to do with your problem. It's obviously very difficult to detect telepathic communication, but as far as I can see, there's nothing to indicate he's capable of it.
Very well. I'll just have to trust you. Let's talk about something else. Do you have a moment? I wanted to ask you a few things. Let's change the subject.
Alright, he doesn't have anything.
Later.
A good day to you, mercenary.
No side quest? What about you?
Greetings, mercenary. What can I do for you?
I'll be going now. You would know more about the Deadwalkers than us. Who do you think the spy is?
Walking around in a dead body doesn't make one an expert on all other dead things, young man. In fact, I find the suggestion vaguely insulting. But I have learned to trust my experience, something that you, despite your youth, should attempt to do also. I imagine we could quite easily reduce the possibilities. Firstly, the traitor must be able to enter and leave the camp without being stopped. Then, it must be someone who can observe your comings and goings without drawing attention to themselves. Lastly, it is someone who knows your plans. Someone who knows your military commander's orders. That alone excludes a large number, particularly the undead here. In your place, I should go and question the camp watchman. Logic suggests they will have seen something.
Thanks for the tips. I'll get right on it. Let's change the subject. Who are you exactly?
I am Mathras. Immortal and unique.
Right. So why aren't you out there hanging out with your Deadwalker friends?
First of all, I don't have any pals. I'm a little too old for that. Secondly, I find your implication that I am associated with them most unpleasant. I have nothing in common with those dead things. I've been around for over 6,000 years, and I'm still very much alive, thank you. I admit this body is looking a little worn.
6,000 years old. Hey, you don't look a day over 250.
You flatterer. I did, however, lose a toe this morning.
Cool.
Nonetheless, these Deadwalkers are simply corpses that are animated by magic. Whereas
He's wearing a crown.
am an immortal spirit who changes bodies when they wear out.
Wonder-
There's absolutely no similarity.
Wonder what body he's wearing a crown right now. I wonder what body he's possessing right now. Maybe a royalty or something.
But that's awful. You steal bodies?
Alas, voluntary donations are hard to come by. If you hear of any, do let me know. I'm on the lookout. But if it reassures your delicate sensibilities, I generally choose dead bodies.
I want to ask you a couple of questions. Why did you come to Carothas?
Why not? There's one thing you should know about eternity. It can be rather dull. So I do my very best to be in the right place at the right time. The place where it's the most fun.
Fun. You think this is fun?
Well, distracting then, if you prefer. What do you expect? I'm just so bored. The End of the World is a show I wouldn't want to miss.
What do you know about the Deadwalkers?
Apart from the fact that they're an incongruous mass of corpses with appalling bad taste that are animated through the use of magic, nothing. I can tell you that the power necessary for their creation, and to keep them working, is far beyond the magical abilities of any of your contemporaries. And since it's obvious they are incapable of any decision-making or strategy, they are clearly being controlled from a distance. All of which suggests the Ice Lords who are controlling these things are rather powerful. Something, I grant you, quite difficult to believe when one saw them start out at the same pitiful level of incompetence as their brothers, the Red Scribes.
In 6,000 years, have you ever seen a situation as desperate as this one?
Honestly? Well, no. You are, as you might put it, fucked. Or at least the mortals seem to be. But you
Fucked.
carry something within you that may
awesome.
modify things somewhat. And it is this seemingly insignificant detail, this flap of a butterfly's wing, which may eventually change the apparently manifest destiny of the world as you know it. This demon, as you call it, has never before walked the earth. Neither he, neither it, nor any other of its kind. If they had, I would know of it, believe me. Consequently, and in spite of the evident futility of such a sentiment, there may be grounds for you to feel a slight glimmer of hope. That is, of course, if it is your desire to avert disaster.
Well, that's comforting. What happened to the Elven King?
I think he was simply lacking in strength of will and determination. They transformed him into an arch-lich. It's a particularly delicate and extremely dangerous magical process that could only be performed by an Ice Lord. It can only be performed on an elf, and then only one who is desperate to live.
How so?
Elves have many flaws, but most of them do have a very profound sense of duty. If an elf believes he is going to be tortured to make him reveal the secrets of his people, for example, he can literally will himself to die. It would seem that this king was desperate to continue living at any price, rather than dying with honor. That is what allowed them to turn him into an arch-lich.
Do you have any idea about what I am becoming?
In all my long lives, I've never seen your like. Even the term demon seems to be designed to cause confusion. I have seen real demons when I lived as a war drum player amongst the dwarves.
Dwarves are just legend. You're yanking my chain.
It would be churlish to mock someone when it is so easy. Thus the dwarves did exist, and I was once one of them. They used to use these little creatures, barely the size of toddlers, in their enormous forges. They were little red creatures with tiny horns and a wicked air about them. You see, they were able to survive in the flames. The dwarves called them demons. You look a little like one of them, only much bigger. And you have an even more pronounced affinity with fire. I'm reserving judgment about the wicked attitude. I believe this affinity with flames is no coincidence. You are clearly a response, a weapon, and your purpose is to face the Ice Lords. It is entirely possible that you are the fruit of an attempt to rebalance the forces of nature. Alas, I have no idea which entity is behind all of this.
What is with games like this one and Dragon Age, not Dragon Age, Skyrim, making like elves and stuff like that, races that still exist and are still alive, but like dwarves are just nowhere to be seen. They're talked about everywhere and mentioned everywhere, but they don't exist. They're just gone. Like, what's the fascination with making dwarves non-existent in these games? I don't know why. I would love to see dwarves in this game, man. It would be awesome.
Talk to you later.
Alright, let's come over here.
Mercenary.
Has anyone gone by here? Any men leaving without passes? That sort of thing?
No, apart from you, no one. Is there a problem?
Your commander thinks there's someone sneaking out to meet up with the enemy.
That's terrible. Who could do something like that? Anyway, I promise no one's been by here. You should go try the other gate, near the mercenary camp. And maybe the sentinels in the North Tower have seen something.
I'm leaving.
Okay.
Well, well, you again. Can I help you?
Why the long face? Is something wrong?
You mean apart from the fact that my city no longer exists and I've lost most of my people? Sorry for being in a bad mood. I'm still alive, I should be grateful for that, but actually, I feel completely useless, and that makes me sick.
Looks like you've got lots to do, though. Even if your army doesn't have as many troops as before, they still need equipment.
Of course, and that's what's driving me crazy. I had to leave all of my equipment behind when I escaped, and there was no chance of getting it back. I can only sell the weapons the soldiers bring me. And when you think I had the best forge in Vertiel, Thormal Diamond Arms Hammer, can you believe it?
A side quest to get a hammer? Tell me about it.
So, what's so special about this diamond arm hammer?
It's a priceless relic.
Just imagine, the best elfsmith in history set his soul stone in it. He who wields it immediately absorbs all of his techniques. It's a unique object, one every smith dreams of possessing.
Seeing as how it means so much to you, I could get it back for you.
It kind of means so much to you too,
Really?
Jug.
You would be doing me the greatest of favors, and not just for me.
You could use
for
it to
the
make you great
entire
stuff.
army.
Smith,
I'd
you
finally
does
be
just
able to
great
work
stuff.
again.
Consider it done.
Nice. Now, I've been in here, right? Yeah, I talked to them. What about the guys down here?
An undead? In
Whoa.
our camp? Aren't you afraid it'll communicate with its masters? Sir?
It's a calculated risk. Your friend Edwin told me that she can interrogate those creatures, so we captured one.
You really can do some pretty weird things.
Listen, Vulcan. We're not going to turn down any information. If we can find out how to haul our asses out of the fire, I don't see how it can hurt. Ready to make it talk?
If our fire breather doesn't need me right away, I can start getting ready.
Excellent. Let's start the interrogation.
Listen, Maggot Head. You're going to tell us everything you know.
That's not quite how it works, Captain. It can't just answer questions like that. Tell me what you want to know, and I'll dig around in its memory to find the answers.
In that case, why not dig everything out, so we don't miss anything?
Even for someone as skilled as me, that could take weeks. Its brain, however limited, is like an immense archive that contains both recent memories and memories of its past life.
All right. I want to know if that bastard Black Frost really has left the area.
Let me concentrate. Yes. I see him raising the wave and turning the whole city into ice. This soldier must have been at his feet. Then he gave the order to attack, and gave orders to several powerful undead. Apparently he left right after. He appears nowhere else in its memory.
What were the Black Frost's orders?
You have to understand that this creature's ability to comprehend is limited. From what I can see, it was told to keep watch over the city. He asked to be sent living people. Prisoners. The other living people must still be alive and under guard. Other prisoners. And of course, that he be informed in the event of trouble.
Does he know we entered the city?
This dead thing doesn't anyway. But that doesn't mean a thing, unfortunately.
What are those powerful dead you were talking about?
I see a flying creature, like the one in the swamp, and others. The image is blurred.
So the army is being commanded by a tormentor now?
No, I don't think so. They make good spies, but poor leaders. That said, I don't see any real generals.
Nothing that looks like that one that attacked the village.
No, but Black Frost will definitely have left someone in charge. Someone he trusts. This soldier just didn't see who. I think that he... Oh no! He saw me!
Huh? Who are you talking about?
Well, well. Probing the spirits of the dead? You can well imagine that this sort of communication goes both ways. So, that's where my dear rebels are hiding, isn't it?
I must break the link! Right now!
Oh boy. So Black Frost freaking saw where we are. Oh, we're fudged. Alright, let me talk to everyone, see if anyone's got any side quests.
I wish I could go out on a recon, but the captain says I have to stay here.
Okay, you got nothing?
Have you heard about all this spy business?
Yeah, the elf commander told me. They suspect us. Us and the Red Scribes.
Now that would be priceless. If that long-faced twat accuses us of being traitors.
Who do you think it could be?
I confess that at first I thought it was your pal who looks like you just dug him up.
Mathras? Honestly, I don't think so.
I agree. I realized that since he's permanently surrounded by the scribes, he'd have a hard job finding the time to betray us.
Do you think it's one of the scribes?
That's possible. After all, it wouldn't be the first time they've shagged us while we had our backs turned. But whoever the mole is, has to know their way around, and not be scared to go outside on their own. Can you see any of those snot-nosed weeds taking that kind of risk? The most likely, whatever Commander Pointy Ears thinks, is that one of his boys is a turncoat. Go and check with Buffalo. I saw him chasing one a while back.
Considering the size of him, I doubt he caught the guy. I'll go ask him. You know, I wanted to ask... I think we're screwed here. What do you think?
I say if the commander really wants to attack, we better be quick about it. The only chance is taking the enemy by surprise.
I have to go.
Okay.
Edwin, I need to speak to you.
What can I do for you?
I would like to ask you a few questions. I always hear people talking about the World Heart. What exactly is it?
First, forget all the children's stories about a friendly force for good, or its mythical dimension. The World Heart is very real. It is above all a source of power. It is from there that magic comes, as well as certain energies necessary for the proper functioning of our world. These energies can be captured and used. That is what magicians do. In their own way, each draws his power from the World Heart.
The demon insists we must purify it. That mean anything to you?
It's a good bet it is referring indirectly to the Ice Lords. As you know, those magicians have access to immeasurable power. This power has an origin and a cost. They drew it from the World Heart with a veracity that is truly limitless. Each of the Ice Lords' palaces has a portal linking it to the source. Imagine leeches sucking away endlessly on the energy which feeds them. To purify it, you'd have to rid the World Heart of all those leeches.
So all we have to do is go to this place nobody knows and clean out the all-powerful magical parasites. Sounds like a plan to me. Aren't you cold like that?
Is that your polite way of suggesting I'm indecently dressed?
I was simply concerned about your health.
Oh, how touching. But after having spent nights on end, trapped in a cage in the middle of the swamps, I can assure you that catching a cold is not highest on the list of things I worry about.
We're going to try to take back the town. Any suggestions?
Yes, of course. You'll need to locate a unicorn, a few leprechauns, and perhaps a fairy or two. They are your last, best hope for retaking the town.
So you're saying it's impossible?
You catch on quickly. The might of the entire elven army was swept away in a few minutes. The Red Scribes and Freeborn Blades are only a few dozen strong. Be realistic. Your allies are disintegrating. You'd be better off fleeing this place.
And then what? Wait for the war to be lost? Put off dying another month or two until the Deadwalker army finds us?
You could hide yourself and learn how to control your demon. I could help you and speed your progress.
So like we still have still talking to her, we have a choice to go and do that. Although I'm not going to leave these guys to die. I want to save here and fight with them and make sure they survive. So yeah.
No way. I'm not going to leave the others to die.
This incomprehensible affection for lost causes is going to be the death of you one day. But you could learn a few things in combat, I suppose.
Right.
What's the story with this Mathras guy? Who is he?
It's hard to say. He's one of the living dead. Of that I'm completely certain. But he is able to do things no other species of revenant has ever done before. You must understand that necromancy, the magic that allows the dead to be reanimated, is based upon one principle: giving energy to lifeless bodies. Mathras functions differently somehow. It is not his body that has been brought back to life, but rather his mind, which has survived his body.
He says he's 6,000 years old. You believe that?
It is entirely possible. His spirit is in theory immortal. This magic is far different from that which is practiced in Vertial. Instead of drawing energy from the world heart, he draws energy directly from the body he is possessing.
Could that have anything to do with the Ice Lords or my demon?
Absolutely not.
What happened at Carolthas? Have you ever seen that before?
Wait until your enemies have gathered and then take them by surprise using magic. The attack on this city bears the mark of Black Frost. To cast a spell capable of freezing a river, he would have to be here in person. It's possible that he's still in the area. He could be your key to the World Heart. Find him and eliminate him, and the door to your goal will open.
I don't really have a goal, though. It's just something that happened.
Hey, thanks for your help. Without you, we never would have gotten anything out of that dead stiff.
You know me, I just love to be helpful.
Thanks.
All right.
Buffalo, I have to talk to you.
What do you want?
You were seen leaving the camp. What were you doing?
What business is that of yours? Are you spying on me?
I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm supposed to be searching for a spy, and I need some clues.
I was just out on a little recon. I don't see how that can help you.
They told me that you were looking for someone.
Yes, the soldier who was on watch just over there. He left his post, was trying to follow him, but he lost me. He knows the terrain better than I do. I followed his tracks for a while, but considering the number of deadwalkers in the area, I decided to come back. I didn't want to give away our position.
Where did the tracks lead to?
Over toward the river, but don't bother. The guard already came back. He's just over there. You could go and ask him yourself.
I guess that's what I'll do. Thanks for the tip.
Okay.
The mercenary salutes you, Knight. I have a few questions I need to ask you.
Ooh, juicy lore.
You mentioned the Order of the Ember Knights. What is that?
It is the order that the knight belongs to. They are the surviving warriors and honored soldiers of other orders that were lost during this war.
Oh, so it's kind of the Order of the Orphan Knights.
This name does not sound well to his ears.
Right. So you haven't always been an Ember Knight?
No. He was first a defender of the Algander Islands. Then he was a Templar of the Order of Burgians, and then a Brother of the Rock, and then a Summer Tracker.
So all of those orders have been lost. That must have been hard.
He has lost many valorous companions in battle, and his heart is heavy with scars.
I'll bet. So what is the creed of the Ember Knights?
The knight has long searched for the answer. Now he knows it. to seek a glorious death and carry as many enemies as possible away with him.
That's kind of...
depressing. Yeah, a little bit.
If you follow me, we should be able to find a chance for you to get your beautiful death. Just try not to commit suicide at the first available opportunity.
The Knight will wait for this moment.
You're not from around here. Where do you come from?
The Knight was born in the Algandar Islands. It is a proud and savage place where the struggle against the wind and vicious neighbors makes a man strong. The Ice Lords attacked the islands more than 15 years ago, long before the rest of Vertial knew that the world was now at war. The clans were always fighting, but they fought together as brothers when the islands were threatened. And as a defender of Algandar, the Knight had the honor to be one of the first to fight, and with his brothers for a long time he repulsed the invader. Some of the clan chiefs wanted to make peace with the Ice Lords, but the Ice Lords betrayed them, and the clans were decimated. Their numbers were sorely missed during the following battles, and in a few short months, the war was almost lost. The Knight was sent by the surviving clan chiefs to the mainland to find allies. But time is a cruel master. When he returned to his homeland, the islands were buried beneath the ice.
So how did you end up in the village of Valvanor?
When he saw that all his kin were slain, the Knight was hungry for revenge, and sought out battles to bathe his pain in blood. But in every battle, he lost more of his brothers in arms, and faced an enemy that only grew stronger. The orders were always hazardous, with betrayals common and errors never-ending. Faced with these eternal difficulties and death, always more death, the Knight lost his hope, and so he left the field of battle. He decided instead to take care of the war's victims, to protect them, even though he knew it could only last a short time. It is a final mission without any other hope but to give comfort and relief to a few innocent souls.
What do you think of the Red Scribes?
Their studies have made them blind. Only knowledge interests them. They show contempt for all else. Today they have the ear of the last surviving warriors. They do not deserve this honor, and their words are hollow.
The elves took a hell of a beating, huh?
Defeat is commonplace when treachery lurks nearby.
True, true.
The Ice Lords used trickery and magic. The elves had no chance. This was a battle without honor.
That may be, but they beat us. Now we only have the scattered remains of what was probably the most powerful army anyone has seen in an age. Doesn't it seem a little hopeless?
This whole war is without hope. But since the Knight and his companion are here, they might as well fight until the bitter end.
So what did you abandon when you entered into the Order of the Ember Knights?
The Knight has already said he does not wish to speak of this.
This could be the last chance you get to talk about it.
It is true that tomorrows are becoming less likely. But the abandonment of the past means the forgetting of it. And it is often painful to dig through memories.
That's what you claim, but I can tell you're dying to talk about it.
Very well.
Yeah!
Know then that the Knight once had a family.
Oh.
I suppose they must be dead. I'm sorry for your loss.
It was long ago. 15 years have passed since his wife and his 2 daughters were taken from him.
The Deadwalker army?
Yes. They were among the first victims when the Ice Lords attacked the Algandar Islands. They were thought to be safe with the other women, far behind the front lines. But the Deadwalkers broke through our lines and stole away the innocents. The Knight searched the enemy lines for days, but when he found them, he had to fight what the sorcerers had created from his wife and his children. A dread creature, multiple and monstrous. This was the most difficult fight of all his life.
Let's change the subject. I'll leave you.
Why can't I talk with this guy? Oh. That's weird. That's very weird. I can't talk with him and trade with him or anything. Okay, we have quite a few main quests to do. It's a good handful. And we have a few side quests to take care of. I think we'll do that tomorrow.